Check, 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 check. Welcome back to another episode of Vibes and Insight with Nando, with your boss Nando in our building. In today's episode, I will be doing more so commentary about the scenery of dancehall, Jamaican culture, and everything, all the different sagas. So, in today's episode, I will be revising and looking over Alicia Kim's divorce with her former ex-husband Boo, and after that I will be doing a rundown with Vybz Kartel's interview with the Billboard, and the other piece of this episode will be me, making commentaries about a video that I saw earlier in the week with this young man. He sounds intelligent. He sounds like he has some form of intellect to him. He was speaking about, us as Jamaicans, and it's like we're former parents and foreparents fooled us into believing that education was the way out. You just go to school, you just get an education, and you graduate, and you go look at work, and you live alright. But he's saying that's not the way out in this era of age that we're in. So let's go right into the clips. And you know what to do already. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and always stay tuned for the latest and updates. So let's go. Alicia Kim. The first piece is Alicia Kim speaking about her situation with
another video. If you're new over here, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and to my big crew, one do. I love you already, right? I know a few of you already know the story, you already know everything, but I feel like I needed to come and say more, because I posted the divorce journey, where you kind of saw my divorce diary and how I was feeling, what I was going through at that time, but not much context as to what exactly was happening leading up to that. And I feel like I do need to give more clarity, just because you saw when I was migrating here to America, you saw the happiness, you saw the happy times, you saw all of that. And before I get into it, I don't want it to seem like it was...
Let me say first things first. This episode is not here to break down Alicia or whatever. It's just me looking into it and maybe giving my 2 cents to the whole situation, because it is terrifying and it is very disturbing how a grown man like him could do her so bad. And on the other side, other people would think that, oh, she used them for a green card or whatever. But sometimes people's situations are very different. You can't just use everybody's situation and pile it up and say it's one thing. Everybody's situation is just the same. But I've been watching her clips over the years, and to see her come into this part of her life where she and her husband is divorced, and like her divorce case took her like 12 months to finalize, and she's still traumatized for everything that's been going on. And as she stated in some of the videos that I've watched, she's saying that she married the guy for love, and she loved him, and she wanted to come to the United States, and she came here, and then he dished her for dirt. He sold her a false promise. So let's get it.
Orchestrated for you only to see the good times, but I will say that no one really wants to put the hard times out there sometimes, and especially because I was new to YouTube and all of that, a lot of things I kept in out of shame, just to be quite honest. So I got served divorce papers in January 2024. That's a year ago.
Oh, that's last year.
And that was not the first time that I was served divorce documents. I came here on a marriage-based visa in December 2020. I came to America for love. despite what a lot of people want to say and a lot of the narrative out there, I came here for love.
Bro, she's a nice girl. She's so beautiful, bro. Come on, you can't take that away from her. But you know, sometimes looks is not everything to some men, bro. Like, you wonder sometimes how some men lose some girls, but there's more to it than just looks. It's more so character, personality. Everything comes together to cause the
I came
situation
for a
to break.
relationship. Remember, I came to America without a friend, a family. I knew.
With FanDuel, new users get $200 in bonus.
Yeah, bro. It's crazy. It's just crazy, bro.
And when I say I know, I knew not one person in Florida when I decided to pack up my life and move to America. I came here because of promises and because of a picture that was painted. I can't put it any other way. Because if you decide to leave your family, your friends, your livelihood, and everything to come to a new country, I wasn't just doing that for the American dream. I did it because what was presented to me, it sounded good and we had a good thing going on, and I said, yeah, I think this, I'm older now, I want to make my own life and create my own story.
Yeah, we all
And
want a dream,
the
bro.
decision was made to come to America and for me to migrate. I migrated.
Let me say this, bro. For all you guys, boys and girls, women and men out there trying to come to America, bro, this is not the America that it used to be. It's rougher now, bro. It's much more harder than it used to be. And if you're not strong, if you can't stand on your foot in this country, bro, I don't know how you're gonna handle it. I don't know how you're gonna manage, bro, because it's difficult in America right now. You gotta improvise while you're doing whatever. You gotta try to make ways to make more income, multiple income. It's more difficult, and I understand that we're all trying to get here. Most people want to get here to make a better life for their life, more opportunities. I saw a video earlier today about two people stuck on a plane, underneath the plane. What's it called? The brake, underneath the brake where the wheels are, and they died, bro. And they said the plane was coming from Jamaica. It's a Kingston Jamaican plane, not a Kingston Jamaican plane, but the plane was coming from Kingston Jamaica, and apparently two people were underneath the plane on the wheels, bro. The landing gear, that's the name, and they died, bro. So you got to be careful what you're trying to run yourself into, bro. See, she came to America for a dream, and the man that she came here with married her, and then dissed her for dirt. That's crazy, bro.
December 2020. And everything was good. It was happiness. Looking back, I can tell you I was happy. I was joyful. I felt the warm welcome that I got when I migrated here. I was happy. And it remained like that for a while. You know, it stayed in that happy phase for a while, but not very long. So I migrated here in the...
Apparently she moved there in America with him, but he was staying at his family's place, like his sister. And I think maybe his son was there too, like maybe just to come and go or visit or whatever. But he's staying with family, and she wanted to move out to get her own place. She has that independent mindset, a mind frame. She wanted to move out, get her own place. She and him move in, but he didn't want to move because he wants to stay there. He's complaining about his bird. Those are his kids and whatnot. He wants to stay with his bird, and he couldn't bring the birds to the apartment that they were staying. She moved to, so, and a whole lot of different shit, bro.
2020, and the first crack I saw was in March 2021.
These are the red flags, bro.
And argument. There was an argument, I think, over paying probably the internet bill or something, because we had to contribute to the bills, and I think it was, it was time to pay the bill, the internet bill. And remember, I just migrated, and then I was asked to pay the bill. I'm like, why am I paying the bill? Like, no, I don't make no money. You know what I mean? And whatever. And yeah, there was an argument. But what really opened my eyes, well, maybe not opened it enough, but what opened my eyes and made me get a little bit worried was when there was a car that was bought under the guise that it was mine, and it was taken. The keys were taken. I didn't have access anymore. And I remember I walked from the home.
Saying buy and take back the car. Man, wicked, man. Yo, we have some wicked people out there in the dog, David. No. The man buy her a car and take it back. Apparently the car wasn't in your name, so that's why he took it back.
To a shopping center. And I cried.
Damn.
Because remember, I'm new to this place. No friend, no family. Only people I know is your people's. And here I am with my first experience with feeling neglect, or I don't know what's the word to describe it, but I felt like it was a show of power.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Bro, when I used to watch them, the way how he is to her, the way how he was to her, it's like she's scared of him. I don't know, because he's thick or whatever, but she seems scared of him, and whenever he raises his voice, you could see like she's gone into a shell, or she seemed quiet, or more so humble, in a sense that she didn't want to respond to him or whatever. We understand. She married him. She's here because of him. She got a green card or whatever. She's got to be respectful or whatever. She seemed like a very much respectful person.
With that situation, people interjected, family interjected, and tried to get us to talk it over. Say, it's newness. We're new, and we're getting to know each other, and all of that. And we went to counseling, and the other party was very adamant that no counseling with anyone we knew. It had to be a stranger. So we went to a church. And
with Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, you can pick up the tab even when you forget your wallet.
I got this.
Fargo, send Cass $145 to a cell.
Smell. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Yeah, so I'm trying to skip out some of the ads. Let's get it back.
I remember, because one of the things, because I told you it was about money or paying the internet bill, it was was brought up that I
like the scenery, the background and everything. The camera she got is crazy, bro. The camera she has is crazy. It just brings everything.
Were not readily, or my bank account at the time wasn't readily available. And the other party was like, they need to know. They need to know. They don't want my money. They don't want nothing from me. But they need to know how much I'm making. At the time I'm doing YouTube, I'm not making not much. But anyway, when we went to do the counseling, the pastor, he was like, you're supposed to take care of this woman.
Facts.
You're supposed to take care of this woman. You're supposed to protect her. She's new here. She need all.
For the women's out there, bro, as men, we gotta sympathize for them, bro. We are supposed to protect them. We are supposed to be their protectors, bro. And it's just crazy how we live in a world nobody cares about nobody, and it's right here, bro. She came here married, bro, with a guy, and it's not her alone. A lot of people come to America on false promises, and it's because, she's on the middle.
And he went into it. Of course, that wasn't well received. Anyway, after that, we went to the bank and made sure everything was everything. And a few months later in November, another argument. And this was a big one. I think this one started because I was...
Be a red flag.
gallery to upload a video, take something out of the phone, and I saw some screenshots.
Yo, the man, I remember they have a prank video where he was saying something to her. He was saying, "Girl, I think they have your pretty looks." Bro, the man true color show and that style and she not even see it. All of the red flags them. She nah see them. She just ignore them, bro.
Which I didn't feel too good about. I remember toying with myself. Should I ask him about this or should I ignore it? Just say, I don't want to stooping around. I had the phone to upload, to take videos out, to upload to YouTube. So I brought it up. And I was upset. I'm a woman. I was upset about it, But it was well received. And that was the first big blowout in the relationship.
Ooh.
And I remember I was asked, come out.
Bumbo class.
Come out of the woman's house. Come out.
The man a run her out. And you hear him say, come out of the woman's house. And not even your house and you run out the girl out there. Come out of the woman. Bumbo cleat. What a man wicked. Me bumbo cleat. You see sometimes people afraid to even go people yard because the slightest thing them start tell us, come out of my house. Them meds them in a world, bro. I don't know how some people hold them meds, bro. Those are crazy meds, brother.
And I remember packing up my suitcase.
The be just come America,
not
bro.
my suitcase, but the luggage that I used to come.
So, you see, most of the video them will watch with them, they're mostly facades, bro. They're putting on a facade thinking that people now gonna see through them bull crap because them pretending that the video them where them upload on the internet and behind closed door a be a drama. Man, I deal with that like that.
And I remember packing it up and I talked to my friend and she said, come. She said, pack and come. I'll pay for your Uber, come. But again, I was new here. And this is what I came to. And I said, if I leave, it will look like
That's that emotional attachment, bro. She has so much emotional attachment to the man and he's dishing her for dirt and treating her like shit, bro.
Giving up on it.
Yeah, she never want to give up.
I'm going to stay.
Shit.
Even though I get run like dog, even though I feel like low, I decided to stay. Days had passed and I was now in the guest room in the house. And I remember someone said to me, if somebody comes serve you papers, don't take it. And that is when I knew something was going on. So I was there. And again, this was November 2021. So it wasn't even a year since I've been in America as yet. And one morning, I was in the guest room, I was sleeping. I heard a knock on the door. I immediately woke up when I heard the knock, the first knock. And I woke up. And my heart started beating because I'm saying it was probably after 6 in the morning. So I say, I know they might come. Yeah, this is what the person was telling me. They're coming to serve me.
Yep.
And I was laying down and he got up from out of his room and he came and beat down my bedroom door. Kim, somebody come to you.
Bro, that's crazy, bro.
And I got up, I went to the door. Lo and behold, I was being served with divorce documents.
Crazy.
Listen to this.
Crazy, bro. You don't say. Funny thing, they both are in the same house. And she's being served while he's there, bro. You can't make this crap up, bro. This is crazy, bro. Can you make this shit up?
Serving me, she was saying something like, she said,
Oh, she got a woman server.
The person that you are being served and whatever. And then she looked at the address, she said, oh, it's the same address. I'm like, he lives here. He's the one that woke me up to tell you are out here. And she was taken aback, the person that was serving me.
One big dirty man there. Big man thing. Me nah hide and talk, bro. It's a dirty bumbo.
Like, yep. I myself was very taken aback. So that was the first time I was served divorce documents, and I didn't want a divorce, of course.
Mm-hmm. She's trying to save her marriage. She read them out.
It's what I was faced with. So I started making calls, and of course I was living in the same house at the time. So I started making calls.
Point taken. Let me say, bro, in a situation like hers, you see, if you came here on a fiance visa and you got your green card, let me spit you some gems. You came here on your visa and you got your green card, bro, and you're with your husband. Never you leave him. Never you leave that house that you came here to be in. Because in her situation, she left him, right? She left the house where she came here to stay, which is his family's house. And she left. In a situation like that, with immigration, it's going to be hard for her because it would seem like she left her spouse. She left on him, even though he's the one who filed for the divorce papers. But it's like she left the house. Never you come here staying with someone or staying with your fiance, and you and them having problem, and then you just decided to move out. You see, when you move out of that house, it's gonna be hard for you because it's like you neglect your spouse, even though your spouse is putting you through whatever. But it's like you neglect them. So you gotta be careful. For y'all folks out there who are going through hard times, similar situation like her, just tough it out, bro. Just tough it out and make them left, bro. You don't left the place. Make them left. Because you see, when you leave, that's going to be hard for you.
To figure out my options, I just came to this country, immigration-wise, so much was happening. So, there and there, but with outside forces, they were able to talk to him and everything. And I remember he was going to Jamaica. He was going to Jamaica at the time. This was like, because I had 21 days to respond to that divorce petition, and he went to Jamaica, and then he reached out to, let's put it behind us, let's work it out, let's move on. This will never happen again.
What? She's living with a narcissistic, manipulating crook, bro. That's what I have to say, bro. He's such a narcissist, bro. The man serve her, make people come serve the B, bro. And then the man I tell the B, that's the pinnacle of disrespect, bro. Once you get served from your own spouse, that's the pinnacle of the end, bro. And then he's coming to say, calling her and I tell her, say, let's put this behind us. I'm sorry or whatever. He's going through all sorts of mental disorder, bro. How with the bomb,
all of that. And I didn't want a divorce. So, of course,
manipulating her.
The apology, just bringing myself back to that time and listening to me.
What I like is, bro, sometimes people will help you, I give help in America, give a green card, whether for love or money. Them always want dish you for dirt, them always want to treat you like shit, bro. I've met up with countless people, and most of them all have a story, bro, of getting papers, getting the help in America. And trust me, bro, it rough out here, brother. It rough. You have to have a heart, you have to tough and strong. Them things, bro, them will make you ball night and day.
And go over it. I guess I would say to myself, why did I stay?
I don't know.
Because that in itself, but I looking back now, I think that was just kind of to show me who is the boss and who has the power
Him.
In the relationship.
Him. Kim.
And
Him.
because I felt powerless.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't really know what to do, how to navigate. I didn't know.
My God.
So, bam, again, we're good again and happy again and laughing again and smiling again and going out again and everything was great again. But at that point,
Man, I used to be, bro.
I was skeptic.
Something like that, man, again, and
But not
that's
skeptic enough to protect myself or protect my heart. I still
make your man walk over
just
your...
let go myself. Still didn't guard myself enough. And this was what I was telling myself during the second time he filed for divorce. Is why did I allow myself
to constantly go through this?
Now, you can sell physical products on Amazon.
Sometimes, I know we, you know, sometimes it's emotional attachment. Sometimes we can't even help it as people. Sometimes we care so much for people, and at the same time, she understands that he had helped her to get here. So it's like she know no one else. She doesn't know anybody else, and that is what gets to her. So I understand.
to be treated this way again.
Yeah, bro.
And I said that's something I need to unpack with myself. And I know people ask, was there infidelity? Was there abuse? There was no physical abuse. There was no infidelity that I can pinpoint. As I said, the only thing I saw was a little thing in the phone.
Kim no girl, no other girl out there no want him, man. Nobody no want him out there. You alone want him. But him realize you're weak, so him take advantage of you. Take disadvantage of you, bro. So at that type problem. And him want somebody who weak for do it too.
Thing. And one of the things that bother me is that every time we have an argument, you would take away the vehicle that you said is mine.
What kind of
And so lo and
dirty
behold,
habit
in
that?
2023, sorry. In 2023, when the cracks started to show again. And the cracks started to show again when where we were living, we had to move. We did our time where we were living. We were being asked to move. And I have my little income coming in from YouTube. You're the your little hustling, like we're adults, we're a married couple. I didn't even feel like we should have moved. No, I wanted us to move too because as I said, we're a married couple. We haven't really ever lived on our own. We haven't seen what married life would be like on our own.
We haven't really lived on our own. Oh, older man be and he never live on him own it. Him live with family. Bro, you see sometimes when you don't know people background, people come to Jamaica, come marry you or love you half and want to bring you come a friend. And you not even know them background. See me and live with me are two different things, bro. Yo.
So I wanted to move as well. And we found an apartment. And I moved first. Because he I don't think
he
really wanted to move.
Hey.
At all. He did
Sac passé.
to move. And when he eventually came to the new apartment, I could sense the discomfort and all of that.
This is the very moment when him have to move and realize that him have to move, and then him have to move without him birds them, him kids them as him said, and him don't want to move without them, cause you can't in certain places or apartments you can't go with animals, bro. No birds, no dog, none of the above, none. So problem start again.
I just thought it would have, died down or whatever. And we moved to September, basically. And October, the ending of October to the beginning of November is when the cracks started to show again. And I'm going to tell you, I'm a very direct person. I'm very assertive. I'm very confident.
Can I
And
see it,
so
man?
I'm not a walkover.
Straight.
So if you're speaking to me about something, I'm going to respond.
Feisty. I like
And
that. I like feisty.
again, the car key would get taken from me. And I'm like, what is for? What? Why? You say you buy the car for me, what is for? And they were arguing, and it was always about money. And then my car was taken, and as I said, phone line cut off, and when the move out happened is when I thought, yeah, this is serious.
Phone line cut off?
When I came and I saw the mattress on the ground, I knew.
Who did that, him?
I knew this would reach a place where it has never reached before. No matter everything.
The ugliness about this whole scene, bro, it's like you imagine it. It is so ugly to even phantom, bro. You just imagine and I see everything that take place. You say, what the hell, bro? It's like your whole soul and body ripped apart. Knowing say you left your whole good Jamaica. Even when life rough or hard, bro, you still can manage. Life nice. You had a paradise, you know? For come here, so. In that cold world in America, bro. And I forgot through all of this, bro. I want the ugliest thing, brother. The ugliest thing.
That had happened, this was serious. I guess in the reality of it, I didn't really think it would come down to this. But it's now over.
Straight.
Divorce is over. I have a lot of therapy to go through. I need to unpack so much, learn so much about myself, and find myself again. I'm aware of that. And for you, I know this is new because I just shared it, but for me, I've been going through it for over a year. I'm battling with it for over a year.
12 months,
But I hope this give you a little bit of context.
Alright, let me go to another piece. I think I have another piece where she was saying something else. Let me go. There's another piece. She was saying something. This is it. Oops. What am I doing? Alright, this is the other piece. She was saying something about the word. Oh, it's a
that was not the first time that I was served divorce.
Oh, this is the same thing. It's not this one. Let me find it. There's another piece where she was saying something else about the whole situation. That was yeah, boy Kim, you rough out your feel. Rough out your feel, Kim. She was saying something. You were saying something.
This sorry, I remember when the relationship just started, I used to thank God for blessing me with a man like this. Like, where has this man been all my life? And I used to wonder why other women would pass up on this man.
She's saying, when she get the man, she's saying herself, where has this man been all her life? Why has so many women passed up on a man like him? Him trick you. Him give one of them, yeah? Got him. We got him. One of them that the man give be Chrissy. He about Chrissy. Me I talk about Chrissy. Alicia, one of them that the man give. Why so much woman pass up on him? Because he's not worth it. He wasn't worth it because other woman go there and probably gone, or other woman they even go there. See me and know me are two different things, bro. And this me have to say. You know, see, you don't see people, regular people selling new car just for selling it because they don't want it. They sell it because they're tired of it. It's used up, nobody don't want it no more. So why so many people pass up on him? That is why. He's already used up. So you kind of keep thinking so the whole car bad, the whole car good and neat and fix up. Bonnet had dropped down, everything had dropped down, whole parts, inside, engine malfunction, everything. So a tricky man, tricky babe.
It was such a blessing. Loving and caring, like checking all the boxes, and I used to thank God for the blessing, which is wild now because during the divorce I used to say, why God, why?
Shit.
But I think I'm going to do, I'm going to probably do a little series where I talk about how we met and just go deep dive into the whole entire thing so we can wrap this up in January, because I know that you are still lost as to.
Me no wrong here, my friend milk the whole situation. I said, milk it, forget your YouTube money. I said, knowing we as people, we love people drama and we're interested for hear what they must say. Let's get to the whole thing with, recall it, there's this clip going around with this youth I speak on, you know, the whole education, and I say people trick we enough to thinking that education is the key and very and that's a madness. So let me just go right into that clip so you guys can see it. Where is that clip? Let me go into it. Oh, I see it. Bro, I try to find the clip and I can't find it, but I just find it. So, there's this clip going around with this youth I talk about. Well, 4 parents, them and parents in the past and family, grandparents, all of them. We're being tricked into believe that education is the only thing. I'm gonna play it for you guys and let you guys hear it, and then I will give it my take afterwards. So let's go.
Two of them are observe around them.
Alright.
That the rich criminal them. How do you convince a generation that education is the key when they're surrounded by rich criminals and broke graduates? Serious question, because obviously with parents or grandparents, with predecessors lied to, we went into we say all we need to do is go to school and take a book, get good grades, and come out and get a good job and live comfortably, because that's not the reality that millennials and Gen Z are facing right now. So something off, something go wrong somewhere along the line. You know what I'm saying? The only people who seem to live comfortably are the one them who apparently don't have no brain. The one them who never spend the time focus on school and schoolwork and none of that bullshit. So how you gonna convince the youth them nowadays when at school so what they need to do is take them book, when the reality what them observe around them is that the rich criminal them, what do you call them, the duns them are the one them who live life, and the one them who have the 8 and 9 subject so them have some job and pay them enough fee even want a proper car. How do you convince a generation that education is the key when they are surrounded by rich criminals and broke graduates? Explain that to me.
Here's what I have to say. Education is the backbone to everything that you have. Doesn't mean that with only education you can make it in life. Because I've seen it. A lot of people has education and them don't know for use a knife. Them don't know for do nothing. So education and everything else with education is a full package. You have to have skills. You have to have talent. Education backs it up. Education helps you articulate yourself. It helps you to reason. It helps you to communicate. It helps you how to analyze and strategize how you're going to take on the life, the future. So with just education, education is essential, but it is not always like the only thing you need to make it in life. Because if it was for education only, a lot of us wouldn't make it. But education is that key to open doors for you in the future. Let's say a corporate job. If you're going to apply for a certain corporate job, that's a high paying job, and you don't have the credentials to help you to get in that job, you will never get it. Just because you know how to go viral, just because you know how to trap the line or whatever, just because you're dunce and you're fully dunce, doesn't mean that you're going to get it out, you're going to make it too in life. You see all these people that you're seeing going viral, buying GLE, doing all of this and ray. It is not guaranteed for everyone. Not just because you've seen social media and people going viral and the dunce them and make it and ray and a fully dunce the culture and say, no, it is not forever. All those trends, they don't last, and education is the only thing. That's the only credential that you can't erase out of your, what I would say, that you can't erase out of your life. It's going to always be there with you. It's all on papers. So all these social media sensation, musician, you see artists, even overseas artists, they use their networking to pursue education. Like, they got rich by music, and after getting rich, they open up businesses to inherit money just so they could go back to school and getting more education. I see Little Baby, bro. I saw a clip with Little Baby, graduated from Harvard University, bro. The man going to school, go get him education, because music is not a forever thing. Why you think most artists fall off or flop? Because them never take the time out to use that money where them use buy liquor, or buy people, or buy friends, or buy car and all of them things. That them never use that money there either for open up a business or go back to school, so when music done for them, them can use all of them credentials there to make it in a life. Because nothing, them things don't last forever, bro. All of them things where you see are going, it don't last forever. And for hear the you, him sound articulate. He's using words like predecessors can tell you, say, yo, him have a brain. But as a person who have a brain, you cannot start them things. If you're saying something like this, on the other hand, you should know that it is not guaranteed. You should know that what you're saying, you should always back it up with saying that even though you're saying this education is very much essential to the generation, we understand that with time everything changes, and with the era that we're going in and changing within, it keeps changing with time. So we understand that you gotta improvise and adjust as you grow. So to say that education is not what it should be, or saying that education with parents them or for parents them tell us something back then, and then when we reach in this era, it's not what it is and it's not what it's supposed to be. No, bro, education is, if you did a learn at school, them tell you, say, education is not just the only way out. You have to have it because you need it to balance the scale of your talent, goals, skills. If you don't go to school for learn how to read and write, learn how to add and multiply and subtract, oh, you're gonna make it in a life. Oh, you're gonna either open up your own business so you can learn how to do them things there. You don't learn them things there just by looking. You learn them by telling, learning by working, consistency, understanding how to do all those things. So education, it is essential, bro. It is essential. And it betters you in life. So that is that old clip. You guys tell me what you think. And I will be going on. The other clip, Vybz Kartel's Billboard interview. So let's just jump right into that interview and see
Find your next possibility.
how the interview went down. I saw a clip of it, but I didn't really watch the whole thing. So let's just wait for these ads to get off the screen and jump right into the interview. So let's get it.
You can't even feel sorry for yourself. Like I didn't have time to do that. I had kids to feed, I had family to take care of, I had my health issues.
The popular controversial dancehall artist of Vybz Kartel, whose given name is Alicia Kim.
35 years before he becomes eligible for parole.
I was sitting in this position, with the legs crossed in my cell. I was listening to the radio.
Dancehall music icon Vybz Kartel remains behind bars for nearly 13 years.
He was like, yo, I think this is it. This is Vybz Kartel. I'm big up Billboard. Come spend the day with me.
Everyone say my come along. Go for your son, Danny, in the summer song.
Do you feel like the scene kind of stalled when you went away?
Yes, but it also opened up a portal for the new artists. I mean, it took a minute because Vybz Kartel's presence is so powerful. Maybe like between 2016, then new artists started coming out one by one, and then the floodgates opened like around 2020. But yeah, it took a while. So yes.
I heard you recorded one of your biggest songs of the past decade while you were away, Fever.
I've been recording, but initially I figured out how to record using an iPad. The little small flat ones, the original rectangular ones. But a lot of time the sound was metallic because the cell didn't have the padding like what the studio has to just kill the sound, so it bounced all over the place. Then I figured out that I could use my mattress as a sponge over my head, so that's when the music started getting...
Man, I improvised, bro, in a jailhouse.
That song from TJ, that rhythm from TJ, me and him produce it. And I was just there because at the time don't come for me. I used to love watch Gossip Girls.
It's a classic show right there. Everyone loves Gossip Girls.
Gossip Girls.
Okay.
Oh man, I watch Gossip Girls.
And every time the show started or ended, a voice would say, XO, Gossip Girls.
Yeah.
So that's where I got the concept from.
You see where man get the inspiration from to write the song XO. My love is very special. Them Fever song, bro. You see, you have to improvise in a life. The same thing we just said about the education thing, bro. You have to know how to improvise and know how to work it while you grow along in your life, bro.
To start the Fever, XO, my love is very special.
XO, my love is very special.
Recording the song line by line, looking outside if anyone is coming. 2 more lines, look outside. So, but it was crazy, man. It was necessary at the time to do what I love the most and more than anything in the world. So that's how that's...
When you love something, bro, you just can't separate from you, bro.
To TJ, and TJ got it mixed by Dunwell. The big up Dunwell.
Oh, Dunwell mixed the Fever
rhythm. That was history. It was
How
crazy.
long did that entire recording process take?
Probably took a half hour.
Oh, wow.
In a studio, if I was to do that now, it would take maybe 5-6 minutes. But there, like I said, you have to kneel down, wrap the mattress around your head again, set the earphone.
Well, if I do so much, I'll make you itch them, so, bro.
Did you ever get caught?
No, never, bro.
You call that resilience, bro. So much man have to do for make the itch them, like jail.
I had people in other cells, so if someone was coming, they would knock the grill. Yeah, so so someone is coming, yeah. So you go, put it down. They found a recording device lots of times, but they never caught me in the act of recording.
Straight.
When we released the video, and then the numbers started going up, I was like, because to be honest, I wanted to video Coloring This Life, which is another song.
Yeah, that sounds bad too.
TJ was like, bro, Fever, bad. He was like, the way how I was flowing on it, tough, deep, dark. Rocky said it. I said, alright, do whatever, man. And he shot Fever. And bro, in a few months, Jesus Christ.
Gone a road.
Good choice.
Gone a road.
How did it feel to know that this was so big that you couldn't be out with us experiencing that?
I mean, I don't know, man. It is what it is. Because like I said, being in prison, you know, you can't even feel sorry for yourself. Like, I didn't
Man,
have time
you have
to
a
do that.
strong
I had
and tough
kids
it
to
up,
feed,
man.
I had family to take care of. I had my health issues. So there was no time to be weak or to be like, man, I'm not out. You just fought the case and did the right thing, yeah. But it was crazy though. It felt seeing the song, the impact the song had was amazing. And then when it sold gold, I said, boom, clad, yeah. You know what I mean? It's crazy, yeah. But I was
Me have to cuss out by the road.
there listening because me as a ghetto youth, I'm used to disappointment. So I don't
Straight.
get excited too quickly.
Straight, a real talk, bro.
The fat lady sing, right? So I would.
Man come from the ghetto, dog. Sometimes we easily get disappointed. So we expect the unexpected at times. So, you know, life, sometimes you will just know it's a part of our life, bro, as ghetto youth.
Waited after the conviction was overturned. It took like 2 months, maybe 3 months for us to finally get out. And I didn't even move. I was sitting in this position, you know, with the legs crossed in my cell. I was listening to the radio. And then I was also talking to my lawyer on my cell. In my cell.
Hey, every time the man I get a chance to rhyme and I'm reasoning them now. That different human being that's a bomb book.
I think this is it. And I said, okay, I'm gonna put my clothes on, and I hung up. And as immediately as I hung up, it was like an earthquake because it came over the radio. And everyone in the prison was listening. When they hold the bars and shake it, just imagine 2,000 people shaking the bars all over. So it was rumbling. That's when I knew, like, yeah, this is it. Put my clothes on.
Pause. Let me say, bro. Me no wish prison for no man, brother. No man. Prison on a night. Prison no make for no, but prison no make for no man, but it make for people over. It understand it no make for no man, but it make for we. Cause I dare say you have to go get reform. So I say go. You have to confess to your sins. You have to, you know, find a place of hope, find a place of forgiveness. I say go. So you have to face the consequences. But I don't wish prison for no man, dog.
They came for me, packed and left. Matter of fact, I didn't even bring anything. I left everything, yeah, because you know we have guys there. So it gives sneakers and stuff, my TVs, just give it away and left. Yeah, yeah, man. That's how when I came out, if you know I don't have anything in my hand, I literally came out like this. The Vybz Kartel now is just...
I love Monday.com.
What's Monday.com?
You don't know Monday.com? This is Monday.com. It's a platform that helps us run our work, collaborate with...
More chill, I would say, more mature, you know, just more laid back. The one that went in was a beast. You know what I mean? I'm still a beast musically. But it's just looking back at my...
Man, I say him change, bro. The Vybz Kartel gone in and him will come out back. So, that many people are still under the Vybz Kartel, that's what they know. But it's for the good and the betterment of himself. Sometimes you have to change in life. You don't want to go back to your past, so it's best to always change, bro. Life make for grow and elevate, so you have to just do it.
Personal evolution. I like who I am now.
Straight.
But I guess the Vybz Kartel of old was the reason that
you get where you are now.
The musical fame and fortune.
Straight.
So I'm not gonna, I don't have any regrets about him, but I don't want to go back to that cartel, you know what I mean? I'm right here. And
why you wouldn't want to go back, bro?
The dancehall artists now, they do
Black
what they call
Cartel.
dancehall.
Yes.
So I think it's gonna take a minute for the ears of the big markets to get you.
Only him know why him no want to go back. Only him know why.
But once that happens, I mean, Yeah, I think it worked because remember, music has always been changing.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was wake the town and tell the people. And they had Josie Wheeler, Lord, you saw me jump on them. Yeah. And it changed in the 90s.
The paradigm shift rapidly.
Movado, and now it's the kids' time. So once the sound catches on in the mainstream markets in the London, the New York, the Toronto, I think they will have success.
You were nominated for your very first Grammy. How does that feel to earn that kind of recognition after so many years of groundbreaking music?
I mean, I'm grateful, but I'm not surprised because if I wasn't incarcerated, I would have been nominated. But I understand why would they want to nominate a dude?
The man speak fluently with the English though. Bumbleclade. Yo, we are the man to articulate himself, dog.
Prison.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah.
So I know if I wasn't arrested, based on the amount of songs that I put out and the trajectory that my career was on, I would have definitely probably won. You know what I mean? So, but I'm very, very grateful, man.
Nothing beats timing, bro.
What's been the process of collecting all of your older music and trying to clear them all to get on streaming so people can experience your full catalog?
I mean, I've been doing it slowly but surely. So we put out, and a lot, and that's a good question because actually, I'm going to shoot videos for a lot of those songs as well. Yeah, because every time I post, say I make a post and I use a song, you know, now Instagram you can put the songs with the pictures. And in the comment section, people will be like, Kartel, you need to make videos for these songs. These are classics, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of them I was in prison when they were released, but they were huge. So I'm going to record them, I'm going to video a lot of them, and I'm going to put them on my streaming, my YouTube, my Spotify.
That's going to revive them too.
Yes.
They might become hits all over again.
They will, because TikTok has done that for a lot of songs.
TikTok, big man.
Like even like Translator and those songs were.
It felt like Banana had a trend just a couple months
exactly.
ago.
And that song was released in 2004. And kids dancing to it that are like 18.
Yeah, man, have songs with all sorts of different name, bro. A song, you have a song named Translator, or the Bob Pete.
The song is older than they are.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. So.
Are these names, sir?
Actually, I'm in talks right now with a few companies in America. So what they want me to do is like get artists. They would give me that distribution platform so I can get the artists, sign them, release the songs, and get Jamaican dancehall music in a more formatted kind of way. Yeah. Standardize it.
Yeah, because you got the power to do it.
Bro, one thing we're all about Jamaican artists, them dog, it's a whole organization. Dancehall now have like a label, you know? It now have like a strong label back at the artists them for push them out there. So it's like we have to do it them have to do it independently and hopefully, you know, them break out there. In recent times we see artists are signing label with overseas labels, organization. And them a jump out of label, it now work out, the label a boycott them and you know, a shelf them. So in a sense it's good to stay independent. But if you're an artist who are trying to bust or break out, he would be needed for the whole Jamaican diaspora have a label where surround or connect with all different areas of the Jamaican diaspora and Jamaica. So you know them can get the full highlight and the full extent of being international. So I label and the organization I hold my guy.
Oh me? Yeah, thank you.
You wanna say? You wanna say Kartel I right man for do it. If you have a label and sign some artists.
Gemini in Google Workspace makes you smarter, makes you more productive, allows you to communicate better.
Right now we're at Janga's. You know what I mean? One of the hot restaurants in the area in Kingston. It's popping off. Yeah, and they even keep like live events.
Hey,
so,
Jamaica paradise, bro. Every night you can party and have fun.
Live performances.
To start off, I want you to just name your top 5 Jamaican dishes.
Top 5 Jamaican dishes? Rice and peas and chicken. rice and curry goat. That's white rice.
Jamaican dishes.
Callaloo and dumpling, mackerel and dumpling, and seafood, anything in the sea.
I feel favorite them there.
What was the first meal that you had after you got out?
What was it? Steamed fish. Steamed fish. You know that?
Last night, me eat some steamed fish, you know, man. Bumba clean.
My mom made it for me too. Big up for me.
Mom made it for you? So you went home and
Yo, the man say, the first time when him come out of jail, the first food he eat, his mother make it for him. The man make the other woman make no food for him, my mother. Not even cook shop, none of them things there. Bad youth, bad.
Yeah, I actually went to her house first before I went anywhere else.
Shit.
what was that moment seeing your mom as a free man?
I mean, it was a tear-jerking moment, man. Trust me, tears, man. Tears of joy. And in a sense, tears of sadness to know that I missed out on so much, you know, with my
13
mother
years.
and my kids, man. At that moment, it was all about mom.
How would you say Kingston has changed from when you first went in to now that you're back?
Crazy, man. Like the roads, everything. The roads look different, a lot of buildings. Even the other day, my fiance had to be telling me where to drive. I'm like, you're from England.
Yeah, man, Jamaica build up, man. I just the crime rate, I mash up the country, you know. Because Jamaica a nice place now, even Moby and Negril. It's just crime I take over the country. It build up on a different level, bro. I go there. Last year, I got Jamaica, bro. And trust me, bro. It's like I never want to left, bro.
But she's been here 2 years while I was locked down, so she got to know the place. Yeah. So even on the toll.
See them are more Jamaican than Kartel.
She had to be driving me down. You're going the wrong way. So I had to catch and tell me like, Nick, don't go there. Yeah. Stop, go here. Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm
sure your kids are the same thing too.
Yes, everything. It's like you're relearning your own country. Yeah. It's fun though. Yeah. I think that's the #1 feeling I get from it. It's like a kid with a new toy, you know? Yeah, because I'm like, even the other day in New Kingston, like this area, I literally got lost. That was crazy.
So when can we expect you to be back in the U.S.? Are you going to see you on the Parkway for a Labor Day parade in New York next summer?
We're definitely working on it. We put in, as a matter of fact, we put the documents in. So we're working, we waited basically.
You're saying this guy is going to be at the parade, Brooklyn parade, Juve and Labor Day parade. You man say my sort out in visa. US look out for your dog, you know man. Look out for Vybz Kartel cause the DJ say him a reach over there soon. Shit.
Especially because I'm nominated for the Grammy Awards. So it would be a good look for us to all of us be there that were nominated. Me and you know Shensia is already there, but yeah. Definitely England is where we're going back. Wireless this year. Already booked. Crazy, right?
What song are you most excited to perform live that you haven't, gotten a chance to do in
Fever, easy, hands down. Yes, hands down.
Big song that,
but like I said, man, the biggest problem we have in this.
So this interview is maybe the same day it's the same day of Freedom Street concert. So this interview was done in the daytime and this man has been busy, bro. He has his show the same day and the interview same day. That's legendary, bro.
Sorry, it's choosing the songs. Because think about this, I have a catalog that I've never performed before, which is the catalog from prison. Billboard, we're here at the National Stadium. Let's go!
Oh no, it's not the same day. It's not the same day. It's like maybe days before.
It's a fact.
Okay, thought it was the same day.
Yeah, Billboard. This is Vybz Kartel again, and we're at the National Stadium in Kingston, Jamaica, for the biggest show in a decade. And Billboard has all access. All.
No, who that job?
I mean, Freedom Street is about Vybz Kartel's journey for the past 13 years, which will culminate with the big event on the 31st of December. I mean, hence the name Freedom Street. The concept is really coming out of prison, the road
to freedom.
And just to celebrate with the fans.
Yeah.
Going into a new year,
Freedom
a free man.
Street.
You know what I mean? Not just me, but everyone that's going to be here. Been planning it since before I actually walked out of jail. Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Will this be your first performance in the stadium?
No, but it'll be my first performance since being released. Anywhere. My first performance in...
Wait, in performance stadium already? Shit. I don't know that. Let me know if he performed at Freedom, if he had performed at the stadium before, because I'm not aware of that. I never know if Vybz Kartel performed at the stadium.
Which is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Well, the amount of people involved in the production is probably half of Kingston.
Shit.
And everybody else will come see it.
And everybody else will come.
Exactly.
So, you know what I mean? So, Freedom Street on a financial level, it's feeding a lot of people too.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, so it's a good thing.
A good thing that man. Get a youth of
a lot of revenue, especially into the country from foreign. We just sacrificed like 1,000 songs and just close our eyes and just like, yo, get rid of those.
Man, I'm sung to
like
kill, bro.
Now. But that's just like my performance. But with the cameo appearances, even today, Massacre was telling me, yo, I'm coming to the show. So with the cameo appearances, it looks like it's gonna be a 4-hour set. Yeah, because we have everybody and their mom wants to come. And I have no problem with that anyway.
Everybody and their mother wants to come.
So let's bring it in a star-studded manner. Sure, why not? My sons are gonna be there. You know the line of the Hindu, the Slim, the Popcorn, everyone, Tommy Lee, all of my musical sons and daughters, and Bounty Killer, Massacre, Busta Rhymes, Shatta Wale, and we're working on a few prominent names, which will remain unnamed. The sky's the limit because come on, Jamaica gave the world 5 genres, world class. Reggae, rocksteady, ska, mento, dancehall.
That's so much genre Jamaica give.
Reggaeton.
The world.
Too concentrating. So we're not short of talent.
Straight, I always say that, bro.
Like you said, the world has changed, and sometimes you gotta change with the times. The entire Caribbean and New York. Why I specifically chose New York is because, that's New York. That's Jamaica. Yep. Outside of Jamaica. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, those, the entire Caribbean, because they're my people, and New York.
Speaking of New York, Cardi B was singing your praises and defending you after people were trying to come for you when those first pictures were released when you came out of prison. Would you ever help out a song with Cardi B?
Oh, I love Cardi. Yeah, we got a song coming out next year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, crazy. Not a goddamn thing. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Man, say my song with Cardi B. Bumbo Cleat at 2025 winner, you a trouble for Vybz Kartel.
This is Vybz Kartel, and it has been a pleasure spending the day with Billboard.
Say no, I go already, man. You know how we go already. That's the end of this episode, and I hope you guys like this one. And remember to always stay tuned. Remember to always hit that like and subscribe button, and make sure to share the video so that the video could go up in the algorithm, and so more people could see that I'm putting in the work and the content that we're creating is most worthy enough for others to watch. So until next time, Vibes and Insight with Nando. Stay tuned. Peace. I'm out. Walk good. Bye.